right.
Make sure that we got everything.
So, welcome back to the 8 Domains podcast. Shannon, something's different.
I'm glad that you noticed.
There's been a lot of changes in the months that we took off from shooting and recording and doing all the things with the podcast. But obviously, jokes aside, joined by a new co-host for a few seasons, or a few episodes at least, David Joel Stevenson.
Hello.
One of our favorite guests from the first go-around. I'm not going to call them seasons because we're not that intentional with any of this. And we're joined today by another childhood friend from Henderson, Kentucky, that David and I both grew up with, Tucker Caton, and we're going to kind of do a little knockoff of Hot Ones style podcasting today. And we've got some wings, and we've got some Tucker's Pepper Company sauces. And yeah, so here we are.
Let's go.
All right.
So we made a bunch of chicken wings. And so I've got these set up. So y'all are going to want to start on the side that's got the flat on it.
All right.
And so that there is actually our El Scorcho spicy barbecue.
Which on the left?
Yep. So it's the flat side there. And so this one's not going to be real hot. And there's a funny thing about, I was thinking about this earlier today. There's a funny thing about the name of that sauce. So I named it after a Weezer song, El Scorcho. But that song is named after a hot sauce. It's like Del Taco's spicy taco sauce is called El Scorcho. So
Some
so
spice
sauce
to it.
named after a song that was named after a sauce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, when you actually do the chicken wings and you don't dumb them down as a buffalo sauce, they can get pretty spicy pretty quick. I don't really know how they do the hot ones thing. Like, I can't imagine like
Yeah, I was gonna
how
say,
rock that is.
Are we just jumping in and hitting them?
Just eat. So we are not Hot Ones, obviously, because we don't have millions of listeners every minute. But we are an 8 Domains podcast, and so we're going to be talking about values. And so one of the values that was interesting to me about you, Tucker, is that we came from the same place. We grew up in the same church. We ran around Henderson, Kentucky, out in the woods, going camping and doing all these, things that we did growing up. And we both ended up in Middle Tennessee as small business owners, you providing a product, me providing a service. But I'm interested to have a conversation with you about your values as they pertain to like yourself as a business owner. And then how do you find balance with running, operating, envisioning, dreaming, managing a business and still doing everything else that we do, being husbands and fathers and friends and all of those things. So that's kind of where the discussion starts.
So yeah, value wise, that's going to be the easier one to answer.
Okay.
Because everything I've done in setting up this business over the years is always been focused on doing the right thing at the right time, making sure your customers are taken care of, making sure that you're taking care of the people around you. And those are really like some of my core values that, both of y'all know my parents and you understand where I got that from. And I still kind of hold true to that. And with this business, it's like, when we make a mistake, it's like, own your mistake, whatever it costs, just make it happen. It's like, that's not the big thing in it. It's like make whatever has gone wrong right, and then but always be proactive in trying to make it go right from the beginning. Now as far as balance goes, that's just what you don't do in this business. I was telling y'all a second ago, it's filming until 3:30 in the morning, making a recipe video for some braised short ribs that it's like you gotta find time when you can. And usually what I do, which of course those braised short ribs done at 3 o'clock this morning, is gonna be dinner for my girls while I'm out running around in Nashville. So, they're already taken care of. I mean, try to find the ways to make whatever you need to get done happen. But you still have to prioritize, your family. And sometimes that just creates a lot of late nights.
So
Real quick before we move on, what wing did we just eat?
That was the El Sporcho.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one there, it's a spicy barbecue sauce. I wouldn't like call it hot, so I wasn't really trying to go with like a hot barbecue sauce. But everybody was asking, can we have a spicy one? And that's typically not what I've done with barbecue sauce. We got ways to heat it up. So I always did just a plain barbecue sauce, no heat. And then you can add hot sauce if you want to. And so I finally gave in to, enough people ask me something for a certain type of product, then I'll go in. And that one actually came together really, really quick. And it's a totally different recipe from any of my other barbecue sauces. And I think it's got kind of the right level of heat. You don't want to make a barbecue sauce too spicy. Because, the next thing you know, you might be ruining a $100 brisket, and dumping a bunch of that over it and all. But this one, I think, just sets in at a real nice little heat. And that may be the mildest thing that we're going after today. So
I'm down for that.
we'll see what we're getting ready to get into.
all right. So the follow-up question to the whole values is, how do you want to experience yourself as a business owner?
Well, I'd like to have a lot more time for myself, and to take care of myself personally, more time for my family, and a lot more money. So then maybe I don't have to work so hard and have some of that time. But no, maybe have a vacation every once in a while. But no, I really do think it is how I want to experience myself is to continue just pushing forward, doing what I need to do, but also trying to make more time for mental health and for being able to be present and active with my family and not always having to think about something else, which I think that's back to the balance thing. That's a lot easier said than done. And so,
Yeah.
but that is the goal, and that's where my heart sets, and so.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're working towards what a lot of people get into entrepreneurship. One, we want to be able to do it our way, right? Like we were talking about that earlier off camera of you've had people kind of step in, want to offer you money for a percentage, and we're going to scale it up. And you were like, thanks but no thanks, because I don't want to give up full control and autonomy to do the things that I want to do. So I think that's a real common entrepreneurial value, is just autonomy to do it my way.
Yep.
And then you are working toward that ultimate end game of autonomy to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And so are you just in a place where you just need to scale to a certain, just a little bit bigger, or do you just need help, or what is going on?
Well, it's one of those things that I think it constantly, you have to scale it. And of course it's a volume kind of business that we're in here, but finding help, keeping help, is pretty difficult. It's harder to find it. Last year, I think I had 3 people that I had hired, and they never showed up.
Really?
Yep. Then no call, nothing. And so it's just one of those things. And it's not like I'm, trying to pay a minimum wage or anything. It's like I'm offering what Amazon has their numbers and their ads. That's what I'm offering people per hour. And you just can't, it's hard to find them, And
What hours are you trying to get people to work? During the day?
all of them. How many hours are in a day?
Hey, listen, I've got an almost 17-year-old I might sell off to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I might pay you to.
That sounds like something biblical, man. And somebody gets sold off.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, Jamin, he might be up for it. He wants to be a park ranger. He doesn't know this yet. I was going to talk to him about it. But he wants to be a park ranger. And so I've been trying to find a park ranger. I thought I knew one, but he doesn't do it anymore. But internships or summer programs for kids to just kind of get out in a national park and stay a couple of weeks, but I don't even know. But if I can't find something like that for him, he's going to need to do something. He has a job at Publix, but the hours there are usually kind of iffy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Run him off on you.
When we're running production, it's just, I mean, it can get full throttle pretty quick and stuff. But it's one of those things. It's not hard to work with. You know, it's just haven't been able to really find anybody that was down for hanging around. So, and you know, people have their own lives, and it's just one of those things that a lot of it right now is kind of part-time because we're not ready to make that big jump into kind of the next step to where, you know, we're producing like thousands and thousands of these every week, you know.
Yeah.
I'm cool with almost 1,000 every week sort of thing, you know. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
All right. Well, what's the next one?
Next one is our buffalo sauce. So this is our classic buffalo. What we had done for a while is we had two different ones. We had this one, and then we had one that was hotter with ghost pepper, and I ended up killing that one off, the ghost pepper one, just because this one's hot enough, and you can always make it hotter. And so this is a pretty good buffalo sauce. This is your classic sort of buffalo flavor. Now our chicken wings are nice and cold. I'll tell you what, they're still warmer than the last time I got them from Papa John's.
There you go.
I'm trying to remember who my delivery dropper was way back then, but
I'm still satisfied with this one. This is good.
yeah. It's got a nice little kick to it.
I think on hot ones, you're not supposed to eat the whole wing. You're supposed to just have like a bite.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm going after it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
We're not on
what I'm here for, man.
We're not hot on hot ones, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched myself eat.
I don't think I have either.
I wonder what that's going to be like.
Or listened to yourself
Oh,
eat.
yeah, Ryan, whenever he's editing the... when Ryan's editing the audio, I hope he doesn't have misophonia, because it's going to be a
dude.
nightmare.
I've got that bad. Okay.
You want to put these headphones on?
No, absolutely not. No, like
This may be the worst podcast in history.
like slurping sounds and like people like smacking their food and stuff like
Dogs licking their assholes in the middle of the night at 2 a.m.
I mean,
I hate that.
Like my ears will physically hurt.
I hate it.
There's a bunch of other sounds too. Like my wife, she like stirs her coffee every morning and just like the spoon just scraping on the bottom of the coffee mug. I'm like,
You might need to talk to somebody about that.
oh, you know, I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, I've heard it's like an actual condition.
It is an actual condition. It's called misophonia.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it's like, it's not like something that's just like made up.
No, Benji just made that name up right there.
I know, but I mean, I've heard like it's an actual like medical, like there's things that you can do about it now. And so, which I don't really want to do that, but I'll just deal with the pain.
You just stuff it, just bottle it up like a hot sauce, and
Now you know where all of his hot sauce is actually coming from.
Occasionally you get a bad batch and it explodes.
yeah. Has that happened to you?
Yeah. I had one, gosh, I guess it was around Christmas time, either 22 or 23. I had this bottling machine that was injecting compressed air into the bottle with it, like, because it was pneumatic, so it ran off of an air compressor. And something was wrong in one of the valves, and it was putting some air in there with it. And after a little bit, those bottles kind of start puffing up on you. And I had a few people that were very, very mad at me because I redecorated their ceilings for them. Yeah, and so
Oh, you mean customers got these bottles?
yeah, customers got them. That's how we started figuring out that we had a problem, and I traced it back to that particular machine and took it out and said no more with that, and haven't had a problem. Didn't have a problem before it. Didn't have a problem after it. So it was something going on with that particular.
Well, I'm glad that I wasn't buying sauces from you back then. I was over buying like rubs and salts and stuff.
Yeah, that would have been a hot shot to the eye right there. Oh.
Yeah, I bet. So you started, if I remember correctly, you started doing like microgreens, right? Like that was the first thing that I remember you doing.
I was doing I was doing the spices and stuff, and of course I'd been making salsa and hot sauce, but really what the whole reason I was doing microgreens is because I was trying to get into these farmers markets. That was kind of a hot thing at the moment, which still there's a lot of folks that do really good business with microgreens. But I was doing that as I was biding my time, trying to figure out how we were going to be able to do hot sauce. And so
hot sauce was always the goal.
it was, yeah. That's where it really started. That and salsa, which the salsa thing, I'm not like, we do a bunch of salsa, but that's not my.
Was there a particular inspiration? Like, does like sauces run deep in the Caton lineage?
Yes. It's I'm an 8th generation.
Sauces?
CSCA.
Saucy.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. I've always just enjoyed spicy foods, and then over the years trying sauces and found something different than like Tabasco and some of those like Louisiana style sauces. I was like, oh wow, hot sauce is weird. And this is like 20 some years ago. And so then I started messing around with it and started making some sauces. I always loved to cook. And then over the years, it just kind of progressed, and I would always make some for myself. People started telling me to sell them, and I was like, nah, I'm going to be a musician. It's cool. and here we are. So I occasionally have time to, play an instrument, but very rarely. Right?
I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
So you just said something that freaked me out.
What?
20-something years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm using that phrase a lot more. I'll be 43 in about a month. And you're 2 years younger than me, right?
I just turned 41, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and I was a wee young lad living on Flowers Court, 2 houses down from this guy.
Yeah.
Was that in
Get him tissue.
huh?
Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
Yeah, that's okay. That's in Murfreesboro.
Yeah. And I was in the backyard barbecuing and whipping up some really, really terrible habanero hot sauces in the kitchen. And I think nearly killed Dano at one point. But
I was going to say, I was not aware of the hot sauce journey back then.
oh yeah. I'd do it occasionally, and then I'd have a bottle sitting there for, months.
So whenever people were telling you that, hey, this is good, you need to like sell this is your thing, was there ever a part of it was like imposter syndrome? Like you didn't think, like you didn't really believe what they were saying?
No, I think I've always had a pretty good level of self-confidence, especially in things like cooking and all. But it was more one of those things that at the time I wouldn't even know where to begin, and I was really chasing after the music dream when a lot of those comments were really starting to come in. And then later, when I was I'd left music behind and was working a regular kind of job, I cleaned out my fridge one day, took some sauces into work, and people were like, "This is like the best hot sauce I've ever had." And they were like, "Can I get some of that?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll make you some." And so I made some. Next thing you know, they start shipping it to family members all over the country. And I got more people asking. And then that just kind of set up, got really thinking about that. And I was kind of disliking that job at the time. And
What were you doing?
I was working for Southeastern Sounds. And it was when I was their service manager. And so they kind of tricked me because you see Southeastern Sound, and the majority of their work was fire alarms and nurse calls and things like, building electronics and stuff. And but I did have some cool work with them, and I was able to do audio for Vanderbilt athletics for a while. And so as a part of that gig. And so we get paid to sit there and watch football and basketball and,
Bad gig.
Yeah, I got paid to actually watch Kentucky come in and play some basketball at Vanderbilt, and I think that was in one of the years that they lost there. So so not the best luck for me, but I was getting paid to do it, so whatever. But yeah, I was doing that kind of stuff, and that part of the gig was cool. But then the other part was very stressful, and so I finally just had enough and just had to leave. And I was like, well, I'll figure out how to DIY my paycheck. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing ever since. And so, You know about that?
I do, yeah. Well, there's a freedom that comes with it, but there's also like a gloom of like, as soon as I stop, if my pedal gets off the gas,
Yeah.
there's no money.
Exactly. And if you don't work ahead and think ahead to like, okay, so what I'm doing now is going to affect my income in March, you know, like, and that's where I've been for the last month. I was working on a new website, stuff like that. And it's like, well, this is the time I have that I can do this. And we've got to start driving more online orders and things like that. And you can't stop just because, you know, in my business, we have a downtime kind of from January to through the end of March, and you can't slow down throughout that, or you know you're gonna sink yourself.
Yep.
So is that the time where you need to like really prioritize marketing and pushing, and
That's really
instead of like contracting, you need to be expanding.
Yep.
That's kind of
That's the time you have the least money too.
listen, I know. I was telling you, like, in this game, in the therapy game, like, we're insurance based, and so all of the money that we're receiving now is money we build for the second half of November through December, and our volume then was 40 to 50% what it normally is. And so our revenue coming in is 40 to 50% what I'm used to, but rent's still the same and utilities are still the same. And so I know that's that, you know, feast and famine feeling, but I also have to make a decision to still be aggressive. So like, I'm still marketing, I'm still, you know, paying for Google ad campaigns, I'm still, you know, investing in podcast stuff and just trying to make sure that I don't, you know, kind of contract when things are tight, and then when things are good, then that's whenever I'm willing to grow.
Right.
So, but it's scary. It's like, that's the terror of being an entrepreneur, is it feels real thin sometimes.
It's feeling pretty thin today. It's the beginning of the month, so all those bills are coming out. Yeah. Someone's like, ooh, I had a good amount in there yesterday. Okay. You know, but that's just what happens, you know, and every single month you gotta push and try to keep it going, you know. And what I do today is going to be important for, you know, next month.
Yep.
All right.
Tell us about that third one.
Third one. All right.
Number 3.
That is going to be our Amarillo by Morning. Another one named after a song, but it uses the ají amarillo pepper. So that's native to Peru. They're pretty cool. Those peppers are kind of larger, and they kind of have the thickness of like a bell pepper, but they're as hot as a cayenne. They're freaky. And but it's a really interesting kind of flavor. People love that sauce because it is different. But yeah, not too hot or anything.
So is the pepper yellow?
It is.
Okay, making sure.
And there's your...
I think we are going to Peru this summer. We're going to hike Machu Picchu.
Ah, okay.
We're going to do the 3-night. Uh-oh.
So I think I need to hit a button.
You probably need to restart that one.
Yeah.
It says it's still recording.
Do we want to see how far it goes?
Yeah, let's just do that.
All right.
Let's just do that.
Yeah, whenever I was on my phone earlier, I wasn't ignoring, you know, I was doing my job. I was trying to set an alarm to make sure that I...
So, Tucker, I have to say something here.
Yep.
These are all delicious. I have not gotten any spice in the last 2.
Yeah, I feel like this has less spice.
The first one was the spicy.
Yeah.
So they may not be in the right order. But I did my best. And so it's hard to because I've never done this. We don't have like Scoville ratings. And so,
You had me completely sold that you were organized and you had like thought this out. You're like, you guys need to start with the flat one on the left.
yeah. Well, no, they're in the order that we're running across here. But as far as how hot the sauces are, it's, we don't do like any kind of Scoville testing because that's a very expensive process. Somebody actually emailed me about that yesterday. Like, what are the Scoville ratings on these? And like, that costs like $3,500 of sauce. So yeah, all the sauces I have, that's like buying a really nice car. No thanks.
Yeah, my youngest son, whenever we're doing the whiskey ghost pepper at dinner, and they've tried it and cried. And they were like, "What is the Scoville on this, Dad?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just hot.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't matter."
And
You should make your own rating and just be like, this is not official Scoville. This is like Tuckville.
we got it.
There you go.
Look at there. Stars on the side of the bottle.
There you go.
I'm not going to see that. Stars. But yeah, it was one of those things that I get to ask that question a lot, and there's really only about 3 places in the United States that'll do the Scoville testing, but we're not the kind of company that we're trying to market like this one's 2 million Scoville units.
Well, that's something
we call this Satan's butthole. That's not the kind of company that we are, and there's a lot of that gift shop stuff that they need to do that, and they're probably pumping a big amount. There it goes. There.
Hold on.
Satan's butthole.
Freeze, everyone.
So it is right at 30 minutes.
All right, good. He was correct.
Nobody have any good thoughts?
I'm holding on a
I
story.
usually dance around in the realm of pretty terrible thoughts, So natural on a daily basis. I don't think you want to get into that. You don't know how bad we're how depraved this mind is.
I think we found the new niche for your podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, just talk to Tucker about whatever loopy things go on in his brain.
Well, you mentioned gift shop hot sauces. So there's one of these Pepper Palaces. I don't know if it's still there, but
The one in Upper Mill's closed.
16, 17 years ago,
Whenever
whenever I was still a youth pastor,
Yep.
I took a group of kids from Springfield, Tennessee, to Gatlinburg.
Almost killed some kids.
Listen to the story. And so there was a Pepper Palace there on the strip. And so we're walking around just kind of doing the youth groupy Gatlinburg thing. And I've got a group of like 5 or 6 kids with me. And they want to go into this Pepper Palace, and they have the hot sauce and the chips underneath the little like globe with the red flashing light. And I thought it was like gimmicky, like I had to sign as an adult. Like I had to consent to have these minors eat this thing. And I tried it, and it certainly lit me up, and it was the worst thing that I'd ever put in my mouth. And then these kids, one by one, they're like, "This can't be that bad." And I'm over here choking, like thinking I'm really
gonna die.
fucked up here. And they, one by one, take a bite, and it's like not a lot. It's just like a little dab. And there was a Wendy's down below in the bottom of this like shopping mall thing that we were in. And they all like run down there, and they're like getting Frosties.
Yeah.
And so then they're like just shoving Frosty into their mouth, trying to cool it off. And then one by one, they all get sick and like are like projectile vomiting out the Wendy's onto the main strip. Like, these are the nightmare youth ministry types of experiences.
But those are also the memories that the kids themselves are going to be like, it was so cool. Like, I remember this thing back.
And then when they have kids,
Yeah.
they're like, and that guy was so irresponsible that he let us do that.
Yeah, maybe we need to let them know. It's like, hey, actually, they're probably ruined on hot sauce. Every single one of those kids would probably never buy anything from you because of that experience. Right. We do have some mild things. They were just saying you need spice in those last 2 there. So
Well, and
just saying.
that's something that you and I have had a conversation about that too. Is like you're not going for shock value of the I want to burn your
It
face
just
off.
felt like a prank. No taste. It was just pain.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's the trend right now. Is everybody wants to be like really, like I want to cause so much pain, and then you prank each other or whatever. But like you're actually going for quality of taste.
Yeah, for flavor really is what it's all about. And so what I'd say to a lot of my customers is, if it's going to be hot, it's also got to be good because of that sauce. Like that is there was actually several things at the Pepper Palace that I was just like, man, I've got to get in here, and if we're gonna make something hot, it's got to taste good. Because it's not enjoyable to just
That's why I love
like a toothpick in something and,
your whiskey ghost pepper. One, it's the hottest hot sauce that I've ever eaten. but it is.
Not one in Gatlinburg.
Well, I don't even know that was actually food.
I don't think it was.
I'm pretty sure that was just like chemical burn that happened in my mouth. But it's like the most flavorful. It's smoky. It's tangy. It's so good. And yeah, I preach the Tucker and Pepper gospel all the time. Like I said, my buddy Ken, he's on his second bottle. He's had more of it than I have. I got him one for Christmas like 2 years ago.
And I remember because I saw you at a farmer's market one day. I think I just like stumbled on your booth, and I bought the hottest of one thing. Like I tried a mild version of, it's like not Diablo. It's a triple.
It was a triple threat sauce.
There you go. Yeah. And you were like, well, this one's like medium, this one's mild, and this is the hottest. And I tried the medium. I was like, oh, that's good. I could use a little more hot. And I got the hottest, and that was like a huge jump. And it took me a while because I was literally having to like dumb it down. Like I was having to add it to like really mild, just add tomatoes because I'm like, oh, okay, he does know how to do hot.
Yeah.
And it tasted fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was a lot.
It's one of those things. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
And most of what I try to do though is on the more of the be able to experience this in like a cooking sense. And for people who really, really love hot and can handle those gift shop sauces like we were trying to kill kids with, that, they still enjoy just the flavor and the complexity of it. And, a couple of my sauces, I feel like there's just really nothing else on the market that even comes close. And to be able to, sell it at any kind of decent price would be almost impossible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
a few of those.
And I agree. Like I put like your competition rub on like a fillet. It's a little bit of salt and then just rub that competition rub on a fillet. Cast iron skillet, medium rare. That is the best thing.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one was one that was kind of that I worked on that a long time ago when I was a musician, and then finally I was thinking, I was doing the spice. I was like, well, I'm gonna do this one because I was really wanting to do some barbecue competitions at the time. I was like, this is the one, and that's another thing you said, though, is a little bit of salt, a little bit of that competition rub, because the majority of my products are low sodium.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild when you look at FDA regulations and find out what low sodium means. And I'm like, holy smokes, I'm coming in like a quarter of that.
Yeah.
And I thought it had a good amount of salt.
When up here, just up the road, there's a New York butcher shop that a buddy put me on to. So I've been going over there, and
I've heard about this place.
They have those French rack elk ribs.
Okay, that's where you get
So
those. Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm getting those. And the first rack that I did had your Thunderbird on it because I wanted a little bit of spice on it. And again, just a little bit of salt, some Thunderbird in the oven, slow and low for a couple of hours. That was so damn good. And then the last two that I did with competition rub because I was having guests and I didn't know if they wanted all the spice. And again, equally as good. I've got a chuck roast from over there in my refrigerator right now that has competition rub on it. So
It's good with beef.
My favorite breakfast is a hot chicken breakfast, and it's just your Nashville hot chicken on some scrambled eggs.
I thought it was just hot chicken with a spoon.
Yeah, I eat your stuff all the time. All right, let's see if we're gonna get any spice on number 4 here.
All right, number 4 is this one's fun. This is our miso ginger, the Shiro Sago. And this just straight up on chicken wings. It's fantastic.
Dude, miso ginger in a fried rice, a chicken fried rice.
Yeah, unreal.
That is so damn good. Yeah, this one's spicy. This was good.
That one's where
Yeah.
it starts to step up a little bit, but
It's spicy.
Nothing crazy.
It's still not. It's still. Yeah, I still wouldn't describe that as like.
yeah, next batch job.
Yeah. No, that's the kind of spice that's like. I mean, I always talk about that whenever I go to like a Thai restaurant because they have the native Thai heat.
Thai spicy.
And I used to try to do that to like prove something, and now I'm like, yeah, I want to actually enjoy the whole meal, and so what I want is to at the end of it like feel my lips tingling.
Mine are tingling with
Maybe
this
a
one.
drippy nose, but I want to enjoy the flavor.
Yeah.
So like that does this. This is really good about
Well,
that.
Eastern Peak has like an orange chicken. I'll get Thai spicy. And the one on Thompson Lane will light me up. And the one out in Bellevue is kind of like this. I'm like, okay, I'm not burping or like, anything like that with
Yep.
that one. But this
Putting your
is
head in
good.
milk.
I love this miso ginger one. That's the most recent sauce that I bought from you.
That one, I love just straight up one on chicken wings. Like that's what I always tell people too. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll put this stuff in the like the chicken wings in the air fryer, no seasoning or anything, and just tossing in that. And that's pretty much what y'all got. The only thing I did to those chicken wings is I soaked them in buttermilk last night to get some of the chicken that's out of them, rinse that off, and then put it in a brine for the ride over, and so it's a little bit of salt in the brine, and then the rest of it is just the flavor of those sauces.
It's so good.
And so, I don't know. It's one thing I've thought about this before. We got a lot of parallels in this business and doing something that's creative, and the music business. And so I look a lot of times at putting together these like a new product or a sauce or whether it's a sauce or a spice blend. Been doing some spice blend like test kitchen stuff this last week and all. I was really thinking how much that's like putting together a really, really well written song. And then the production of it, and the arrangement and everything. And it's like, you're really trying to give somebody an experience. And I think that one of the biggest parallels there is that both music and food touch your soul, and I guess just for whatever reason in my life, I've got to be playing with people's souls. But
I love you could totally do it, Mr. Smithers.
you got Mr. Burns over here.
Or yeah, Burns, not Smithers. Excellent.
Yeah. Can't do the voices very much.
I mean, yeah, like if you, the irony is, these are consumable things. Like music is consumable. Like I'm going to put on a record. When I feel a certain emotion, I'll put on a record and I'll like sink deeper into that emotion. And like, yeah, there's like comfort food. There is like stuff that your grandma made or whatever back in the day. Like if you ever have that as an adult, it like puts you back like, 30 years ago. And so this, yeah, you're adding like, if you can associate memories to food, like this sort of thing, like, yeah, you're absolutely transporting people into certain emotions.
Yeah, the best thing about this is, when we were doing music, like we'd have somebody buy one of our CDs and then they'd burn it and give it to 10 people. Well, now I've got that customer that's coming and buying 10 of those things.
Yeah. Well, it's consumable in the sense that like, and now you can stream stuff.
It's really
on
hard to
Spotify.
pirate a hot sauce. There's no Napster for hot sauce.
Yeah, unless I get carjacked on the way home or something. Hey, you get the hot sauce.
You wouldn't steal a hot sauce. Oh yeah, you would. But no, like yeah, you can stream something 14,000 times on Spotify, or you can buy it once and listen to it over and over and over. But this is I want to experience that again. I got to go back to the source.
Yeah, you gotta come see Tucker at Richland Park Farmers Market Saturday mornings, 10 to noon in the wintertime.
Yeah, man. I told Miriam that I was going to start my podcast again, and I told her that I was going to be hanging out with Tucker, and she's like, I want to come hang out with Tucker. So my daughter and I'll put her on the little Thule seat on the front of the bike, and we'll ride to the farmer's market every once in a while. And two things. She wants to stop by. She doesn't even talk to you much, but she knows that she's going to see Tucker.
Right.
She knows that she's going to go to the playground, and she knows that I'm going to get her a donut from Heroes.
And once again, I'm associated with a great
good
thing
experience.
Yeah. You think my wife can watch this?
Yeah, I'll send it directly to her. Just
I'm associated with good experience. I promise.
let's do. Do you have more?
We got one more than
Yep.
I got something we can sauce up and do the next 5 there.
Oh, you get to do like the last dab or whatever.
We might have to go through these a little bit quicker because I'm going to get out of here in about 30 minutes. So
Cool.
all right.
I'm down for that. The next ones will be nice and warm. So this one is our banditos. It's a Mexican style sort of hot sauce. This one is guajillo and jalapeno. So guajillo is really the flavor of Mexico, in my opinion. It's what you're gonna get in a lot of enchilada sauces and things like that.
Yeah, we're gonna
Well,
say this is like an enchilada.
so.
Yeah, it's good.
But that's what I try to take away. And for to have one less thing to do, it was a really, really quiet sale. And then I took it away and people were mad. And I was like, holy smokes, I've got to bring it back. And then I started noticing how much it was actually selling. And I was like, okay. And it's been around ever since.
How much of that do you do where you're like, in order to test, what something, how well a flavor is doing? Do you like A/B test? Do you give a limited edition of this one kind of thing to explore?
Sometimes it happens that the limited edition kind of way. And sometimes, well, I would say they all kind of start out that way. And I think throughout the course of, like you run a batch or two, and just kind of see how it goes. And it's like, I had this great idea. And usually that starts off with more like homemade kind of labels, like
a sticker.
Before we go make a big run, we print out some of our own. So no, those are not. Those are all pro. But so that way we can just run a certain amount and just see how it does. And if there's a lot of interest in it and you start getting a lot of good feedback, sometimes we'll keep it on, or sometimes it may just be a seasonal. Try to take some sauces away and get asked for them. And once enough people start asking for the same thing, then that's when it's time to do it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Fantastic. Well, so let's take a break.
Let's pause.
Pause and come back with more. So anyways, when you brought these in and that smell hit me in the face, it reminded me, we were talking about how like you have positive memory associations. Not so positive. My very first job was a dishwasher at Mr. B's. And so I was 14, making $4.25 an hour. That was minimum wage back then. And my job was to wash the metal pans that the hot sauces, the wing sauces were in. And so it was like an industrial sprayer that aerosolized that hot sauce. And it hit me in my nose then, and this just hit me, and I was like,
what really stinks are the rules where you gotta clean things at certain temperatures. It's like a good thing to do is have a fourth sink that you start off with cold water and get as much of that hot sauce out of whatever vessel with cold water.
They weren't doing that.
And then you hit it with that.
They were not doing that.
That's actually the worst part of the entire job.
It's cleaning the pans.
It's cleaning it. Yep. It's like that's where it gets you. And it's like the rest of the time cooking and stuff, not a problem.
See, Benji, what you didn't realize is if you could have learned to love that, everything else would have been amazing.
Well, see, I thought that I would, because you remember when we used to work in the North Junior High School cafeteria, and we had those sprayers, and we were talking about nerds back then. We thought that we were big shit. And we'd like make like soggy food dams in the drain. You remember?
Oh, you're bringing all these memories back.
We were so dumb.
We're awesome. Also, madly, very cool.
I just realized I'm wearing my my patient bracelet. I've worn a patient bracelet for the last hour on a podcast from my PCP visit this morning.
He thinks he runs this place.
This whole podcast is not even going anywhere.
This is my delusion. This is my beautiful mind experience.
He was a patient the whole time.
All right.
So where's her nose?
So her nose is right there.
Yes. So it's going. Yes.
Oh, so I know this.
Yeah. Good funny we get the wrong ones there. Yeah. So start with where the unicorn's nose is. And that is our Fire de Lis Louisiana style hot sauce.
Oh my God, that's good.
And so that one's fun. I do a lot of things that are a little bit different than your typical Louisiana. Doing a mix of cayenne and the arbol for a mash.
Is this like a vinegar base?
This one, yeah, it's very vinegar up front.
Yeah, that was that first thing that hit me, and I was like, ooh, I like that.
What's funny is I feel like there's like different stages of this one.
Mm-hmm.
The first, like
This is complex.
this is like a slow taste.
Charter, that one is so Fire de Lis.
Yep.
That is so good.
That's the one that really like what I did like for a Louisiana style hot sauces, you still have that same sort of feel and flavor, but it's got more depth and complexity from like red bell pepper, onion, and garlic, and not just like cayenne, salt, and vinegar like most of them are, you know. And so,
Oh my God,
That's really good.
that is really good. That's my favorite one so far.
Yeah.
well, it's about to get real freaky.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's good.
I feel like you could just put an ASMR podcast of just you take away all of the talking, and it's just us going.
Yeah, it sounds like when they isolated David Lee Roth's vocals in Jump or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of music, am I remembering correctly that you were in a band that opened for All American Rejects?
Well, we were supposed to. They canceled.
Oh, damn. The coolest thing I thought I knew about you and your big thoughts.
Yeah. Well, that was. There's some bands that we opened up for though. The band I was in towards the end, we opened for the Gin Blossoms.
That's cool.
That was a fun one. Those guys were really, really nice. Liked them a lot. And it was also a really cool show to go see because they broke it up for a long time. And they're out touring right now though. They're good dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever talking about memories, if I want to get back to high school, put on Gin Blossoms, I am back. I am listening to my little clock radio. Literally, things were so different back then. Yeah. We're all distracted right now.
It's Kid Rock for me.
But I truly remember just going into my room just for the sole purpose of listening to music. Like listening to the radio was like the thing that I did.
Yeah, and of course that was a point in time where the internet was still very new. Most of us were dial up. Yeah, couldn't do much with it.
Yeah,
and so I think when I was in high school, we got like the cable internet, and so then I was like, oh, I'll watch what I can do with Napster now. This is cool.
Yeah,
and but yeah, I mean everything's just so different now, and it really is. And like when you listen to music and actually like take it in, it's like.
One of the things
it's all Kid Rock's fault.
It is Kid Rock's fault. One of the things that my son does that I like the best is that he will listen to vinyls. Like I got him a Victrola a couple years ago for Christmas, and he just loves listening to Nirvana Unplugged and like. I tell you what, the Guardian of the Galaxy soundtrack is really good. Like Fleetwood Mac, and yeah, he likes to do that. And sometimes I'll walk in. And his little sister, and it's just my almost 17-year-old, my 3-year-old just sitting in his room listening to music together, and it's the sweetest thing in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there are moments like that where like I'll have a campfire in my backyard, like a backyard fire, and it slows down time to like a simpler thing. Like I won't pull my phone out. I'll just stare at the fire.
And listen to music. It's almost that season again. We're going to have some like 40, 45 degree nights. That's the perfect time to light the solo stove and just sit back there.
And jump the fence into the field behind your old house and camp.
Walk a mile and a half that way, cross the railroad tracks and down to Canoe Creek and camp.
No.
We should go do that again. We should just take a weekend, go back to Henderson, and just like trespass.
I would be down.
Out on that. I think it's Amy Cake's property. Amy and Ab Cates.
So yeah,
I think it's their property, honestly. And so I just let Amy know, like, hey, we're gonna be trespassing on your farm this weekend.
Boom.
That sounds wonderful.
Call Jeremy Skaggs and Mikey Brown. Get the group back together.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a blast from the past.
I can't tell you how many times I've been tempted to like call up you guys, and then Jeremy and Pat and Mike, and just be like, let's just go camping. I don't know anything about y'all anymore. I haven't talked to any of you in 20 years.
I feel like social media technology again ruins that, because like we see something every once in a while
of their lives,
and I think to myself, oh, I know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
right.
And so if I haven't been to a high school reunion in a long time.
Forgot what you smelled like.
So weird.
I'm telling you the way I was saying about my brain earlier, right? I forgot you, Musk.
That's the soundbite right there.
All right, well, tell us about this next one,
All
Tucker.
right, moving on. Yes, I have not forgotten your smell. This is my favorite sauce that I make, the rum runner.
I heard you talking about this.
Yeah, so this guy right here is kind of middle of the road. It's heat level, but it's we soak red Scotch bonnets in rum for between 6 to 8 weeks before we turn that into a sauce. And so it's got this depth to it that's just totally different. I mean, that's one you can really just put a straw in and drink. But
Is it wrong of me to say there's almost like a sweetness on the front end?
yeah, it should have some. That's what I tried to pull out of the rum. As there's subtle sweetness.
That bite comes.
There's a bite coming. Yeah, that's good. Gosh, I'm so glad I thought to do this with you guys.
I forgot how you smell too.
Well,
All right, I'll play that one out. Yeah, it actually goes really good on the wing. I like that.
that's actually a really good podcast idea. Is to take the recording equipment out and just get 5 or 6 guys together that used to camp every weekend together in their 40s and just go and have conversations about life and shit.
I mean, I feel like like a campfire talk. Yeah,
I feel like there was a movie about this, like with somehow.
Grown-ups.
Maybe, I don't know.
That one's getting
I don't
me.
watch so many movies, so you know.
That one's getting me.
no, that's really good.
Yeah, the back end on that.
Yeah,
That's where it comes and hits
You
you.
wait for a minute and
Like a half inch out my lip is burning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a good one.
that is a good one.
Well, it keeps going up.
It's getting fiery.
I gotta say, the first the first 5. If you want a mild flavor, a flavorful mild, any of those first ones are gonna be right for you.
Yeah.
But you're now getting up to the point now where if you like it, if you want to feel the tingle,
If you like it hot.
if you like it high,
Tingle.
that one's good. I like that one a lot.
That is my favorite. And so all the sauces I've ever made, I use that one all the time. Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
And so the funny thing is, I've actually spent a lot of time trying to dumb down my tolerance, my spice tolerance, so I can tell people what's hot and what's not.
Well, the thing about it is you have to like lay off of it for weeks
Here we go.
because for your like mouth to recalibrate to be able to experience that heat again.
Yeah, I feel like as a kid, my dad liked spicy things, and so I just I'd want to one up. I want to get the spiciest possible thing just to be impressive, and I didn't have a good palate, and I think like taking the spice out of it. I don't know if y'all saw that. This just fell down. Taking the spice out of it made me enjoy the flavors.
Gosh, that one grew.
Yeah, that's pretty spicy. I like that.
Yeah. That one does kind of. That's one of the things with the Scotch bonnet. It kind of does that. Like that pepper is. Oh man, the Jamaicans got it so right, and that is their pepper. It's Scotch bonnet. And, you got habaneros and stuff down there, but that's where it's at.
Yeah, I feel we're in the lips.
I hate to be pushing us, but like I legitimate like we got to get through these last 3 in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, and then we got to wrap it up. Tell everybody where we can get Tucker's Peppers products.
Well, first tell us about this one, so we can eat it while you're talking about.
Yeah, so I don't have to talk while we're eating.
Yeah, I'm still I'm starting to smoke a little bit over here. Like the lips are.
Yeah, mine are.
So this is our chupacabra. This one is a ghost pepper, kind of Caribbean style. So you're gonna get a little bit of sweetness up front from some citrus, some lime. It's in that, and then it's gonna kind of sneak up on you, and that's what the ghost pepper does. It creeps up, and then it hits like a ton of bricks, and then it goes away pretty quick with some carrot and onion. This one was actually called one of the best in town by the National Scene a couple years ago, and so I'm really proud of that sauce. I think it's got great flavor.
Yeah, it's very
And so it's another one that's a creeper, but as we're starting to get to those next, it's all just going to kind of compound from
The nose is starting to.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, this one opened my nose up pretty good.
So how can we get this stuff?
So tuckerspeppers.com, or you can go to tuckerspeppercompany.com.
Yeah, that's clever.
You can go to farmers markets here in Nashville. There's a lot of farmers markets that we do in season. We do Richland Park on Saturday mornings. In the wintertime, that's about the only one we got right now. Unless you want to come work for us and work in the market. But then,
If you do, show up.
it'll be really, yes, please show up. But yeah, if, yeah. So anyways, you can always go to tuggerspeppers.com. And that's a good way to get a hold of me.
You deliver? You ship?
We ship, yeah. We've shipped all over the place. I don't think there's a state that we haven't shipped to. And I've shipped to almost all of the U.S. territories at this point.
That is fantastic. Oh my God, that's hot. Yep, there it comes.
No, I feel like that was a good one.
Yeah, that one's coming in. That one's coming in hot, as they say. The youngsters like to say.
Do the youngsters say that one?
Yeah, they do sometimes.
I thought they said, yeah.
They say that.
That's what that's skibbity. That's a skibbity toilet riz.
Yeah, that one is very rizzy.
You know, I don't know any of the. This is how I feel. Like I feel so old because I don't know any of the slang anymore. Like I heard like my brother-in-law, his son, my nephew, I suppose. I guess that's not.
You know, yeah, you can call him your nephew. I think that tracks.
Yeah. I'm just checking in on that one. And it's weird because like I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I'm
Your wife's
I'm very into
dad's
this.
son's son.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, and so, but I mean that could be different though. They are actually full brother and sister. But anyways, he was saying something about the drip,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, all these kids want the drip. I was like, I'm pretty certain that when we were in high school, that's the last thing you wanted. It's like, but I was like, oh. Bling. Okay, cool. Bling, bling, bling. That's right.
All right.
Let's go.
Move on.
Second to last.
This is the gauntlet now. So we're the Jeepers Reapers. This is a Carolina Reaper hot sauce. Kind of smoky.
I'm already nervous.
It's really straightforward, kind of smoky. There's no kind of sweetness to this thing. It's just gonna punch you in the teeth.
Yeah, there it is.
And so
There's a little sweetness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh God, there it is.
not much.
There it goes. That's a fun time.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun time.
Yeah, back to that thing where I was dumbing down my heat tolerance.
Ooh.
That was a bad idea with that one. But occasionally I will. I'll like cycle through these. I can just eat one for a week. Which I can keep up on, what they taste like and keep them fresh in my mind.
So I have a confession to make. This is the first time I've ever eaten wings.
What?
In my entire life.
Even after working at Mr. Beef?
It goes back to Mr. B's.
I never, ever have had like wings. Ever.
Really?
Never.
No, not yet.
That's fucking my guys.
That was
That one's got, is the next one the ghost, the whiskey ghost?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I knew when we got down here towards the end, it was going to get rough. I was like, when you put that straight up on a chicken wing, it's a hide. And if somebody comes up to my booth and tells me, "Oh, you got anything higher?" Like, I don't know what kind of crazy stuff y'all are on, but yeah.
I'm crying on accident.
Okay, I've got full. You know what? I've got the drip now.
All right.
I do. And that thing can also cure the drip.
So, are you still making Bloody Mary mixes?
Yes, we do make some Bloody Mary mixes.
I bought that from my in-laws for a couple of Christmases ago, and they really like them.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do a tasting at Basement Marketplace out in Old Hickory on Thursday night. And so it's like a little shop where you have a bunch of different vendors and you can go and
I got any more water?
shop around. I'm good. Yeah. Those first five, you're like, I'm ringing you right now.
No. Okay.
Love me no falsehoods.
We can do this. I've got to do this last one, so then we got to wrap. Oh, God. We're going to have to leave all of this stuff here, and I got to go relieve the nanny.
Right.
Oh, boy. Have you ever had the Whiskey Ghost? It's going to get you.
The last one.
This one's got a lot of flavor, though. It's a lot. Okay, so it's our Whiskey Ghost hot sauce. It's nice. The gold top.
I love that bottle.
And yeah, it's got a lot of whiskey in it, a lot of ghost pepper.
Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go. Let's go, boys. There we go.
Oh, the taste is great.
It tastes so good.
Oh yeah. That's actually kind of a relief.
Yeah, the Jeep
I think the Jeepers hotter.
that one was hotter.
This is
This one does sneak up on you though.
real nice. Good, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna get you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good about it.
All right. Well, with that, Tucker, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your delicious foods with us. I'm having a hard time coming up with words. Oh my God.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's really good to see you.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's tasty.
I'll catch up with you at the farmers market in Richland Creek real soon. Everybody go to Tucker's Peppers Co.
Nope.
TuckersPeppers.com.
TuckersPeppers.com.
Or Tucker Pepper Company. Or
Yes, TuckersPepperCompany.com too. And so, what we've done recently is we actually put together a database full of recipes to show people how to cook with some of our stuff.
That's
Not all just hot sauces. We got seasoning blends and things like that. And so we're trying to show people how to do it. And I've been doing a lot of this video and kind of stuff here recently myself, trying to make sure that we can show you the best way to do certain dishes, give you some inspiration. It's like,
Well, I'm inspired.
you look
And yeah. Yeah. All right, man. This has been so much fun. I have a nanny who needs me to be home in about 15 minutes. So thank you so much. Cheers. Signing off. That was awesome. Woo.